Hey, it's Central Valley Business. I'm your host, Steve Walling. My guest for this segment is Jennifer Rexroad with California Alliance of Caregivers. I want to make sure I got that right.
Yes, you got it right.
Welcome to the show, Jen.
Thank you.
California Alliance of Caregivers, and we talked a little bit before we came on camera. I want you to tell the audience, what is California Alliance of Caregivers?
California Alliance of Caregivers represents the voices of relative and non-relative caregivers to promote the well-being of children in foster care. So these are foster parents or relatives who are taking care of children, abused and neglected children that need to be placed out of their home.
That's a pretty substantial group of individuals nowadays, isn't it?
It is, unfortunately.
Now, you were telling me that this organization is about 2.5 years old?
Yes.
And you had something to do with the founding of it.
I did. Myself, along with other foster parents and other child advocates, decided to found an organization that would be actively present in Sacramento and be part of the child welfare legislation and policy and program development discussion. And the voice of foster parents was missing there in that statewide discussion. So we've filled in that role.
Jennifer, up until California Alliance of Caregivers, you said, you're bringing a voice to the Sacramento area. What happened prior to that? I mean, was it just the Assembly and the Senate, doing whatever they, chose to do? All of a sudden, you decide we needed a voice, and that's a good thing. Because we got, like I said, this is a substantial group of young people in all walks, across all spectrums of society, and all of a sudden they're in a really bad space. And, things happen in Sacramento that affect not only the children, but the individuals that take these children into their homes, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
So California is lucky in that there are several other advocacy groups that are working in Sacramento and are really doing a lot to improve the foster care system. But we believe that the voice of foster and kinship parents is unique because they have a ground level view into the day-to-day lives of children. They know which services are needed, what type of support children need to heal and thrive. And as a state, we also need to learn what it takes for families to continue to foster. The state is trying to move children out of congregate care, which are group homes, because we know that it's best for children to be placed in family settings.
Where they get individual nurturing and reinforcement, and they're in a calm home style type of environment, right?
Exactly. Yes.
That is important for a young person. I mean, they're developing all this stuff. They're trying to figure out how to interact with society, and then they got all the baggage that's part of their story that they bring with them. And if they're in with just a group of kids, I'm not saying that that's bad. I mean, it's better, obviously, than where they came from. But if we can go that one step further and put them in a home, that becomes very important, doesn't it?
Absolutely. We want every child to have a loving, safe home where they can thrive.
And so now that you've been doing this, how's it working out?
It's working out incredibly well. We're very excited about how the organization has grown, and the state and counties are very open to learning from caregivers, and so we're facilitating that. We work with local leaders of foster parent groups, support groups, and we're working with several foster parent leaders here in Fresno.
I was going to say, now you're centered out of Sacramento, but you're in Fresno today because you're working with some Fresno people, aren't you?
Yes.
Tell me about it.
So we have a coalition of support group leaders across the state. They're called the California Alliance of Caregivers Ambassadors. We meet 2 times a month via a conference call. We just had a meeting this morning with the Department of Social Services. And so we bring feedback directly from caregivers, and we give that feedback to the Department of Social Services and to counties so we can provide some technical assistance and support to the many barriers or issues.
Yeah, and it kind of keeps both sides of the equation up to speed on what's going on and what's needed, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah. Now, we got something going on here in Fresno besides the fact that you're visiting me today?
Yes, we're very excited that our organization is developing the first statewide caregiver policy agenda. And we're doing that by hosting resource family summits across the state. Resource families are the new name given to foster parents. And so we're having an event here in Fresno on November 10th at Action Community Church. And the foster parents are excited about coming and sharing their voice and how we can improve the foster care system for children.
Now, Jennifer, is this open statewide, or is this like a regional gathering?
These are regional gatherings.
These are regional gatherings. So we're talking about people in the Central Valley area, basically. And it's going to be when?
On November 10th. At Action Community Church from 10 o'clock to 1 o'clock.
Okay. You're kind of excited about it, aren't you?
I'm really excited about it. It's going to be great.
And in the local communities, how's the support level for your organization?
We found that the caregivers are really excited. We give information, we collect resources from the state level, and we do trainings at support groups or conferences, and the caregivers have loved receiving the information and to be part of something bigger. We host a Caregiver Day at the Capitol once a year. That will be coming up in January. And caregivers in general are excited about the opportunity to advocate for the children in their care.
Jennifer, I think that's great. But it doesn't do anybody any good if they can't get a hold of you. How do we find you?
I believe our website is on the screen. It's www.caregivers.org, and you can connect to us. You can donate. You can join if you're a foster parent.
Speaking of donations, what are your needs?
We love financial support. We're largely funded by private donations and some foundations. Foster parents join for free. We do not charge foster parents anything or raise money from caregivers.
Okay. And you're looking for volunteers possibly?
We do need volunteers. We're really excited about Action Community Church hosting this event. We really need community organizations to help with child care, to host trainings and events, and provide food or materials, whatever we need as well. Yeah.
Now, besides the webpage, do we have a Facebook page by chance?
We do. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on Instagram.
We got all the socials covered, right?
We have them all covered, and there are links on our website.
And the links to those are found on your website. Well, that's great. It's wonderful what you're doing. Thank you for doing it. Thank you for coming up with it. And thank you for watching it grow.
Yeah.
And most of all, thank you for being here today, Jennifer.
Okay. Thank you
appreciate
so much.
It.
I appreciate
California Alliance of Caregivers. Look them up. If you happen to be in the Fresno area on November 10th at
10 to 1 at Action Community Church.
10 to 1 Action Community Church. You may want to show up, and I'll see you when we come back.